to pay a car and
Those things that
So-
you need to live.
Right,
Food,
right,
transportation.
and so because of the job and when we used to work, going back to when we used to work out of town, we used to get a per diem. It was, do you recall, it was $16?
Yeah,
$16
A day?
A day. And nowadays, $16 is not even wages an hour, you know? And,
But that was a lot of money.
no, that was a lot of money, yeah, we had our wages plus our per diem.
yeah.
And, that was needless to say, you had a better car, you had a better, life.
Did you know many of the guys that you knew as veterans? Did you know any of them that took advantage of the GI Bill?
I think Nacho's brother did,
Tom Cabrera did.
yeah.
Tom
Tom
Cabrera
Cabrera,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, Tom Cabrera went to Woodbury, a county school in Los Angeles.
Mhm. Offhand, I can't right now think of anyone.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because when I was a counselor at Valley College back in '70, that was late. We still had many veterans that were enrolled either full-time or half-time, and they would pick up their GI benefits every month. Yeah. What about,
I did buy a house with.
I was going to ask you that. Oh, you're an inquisitive guy, because my next question was housing.
I did.
You know, the housing, back in Colton, as you know, it was a segregated community. North Colton, and then you had the tracks, and you had South Colton, Mexican town. And then in two veterans. One that was in the Navy, is Cesar Ayala, and then the other one that was, I think, in the Army, Cervantes, Ralph Cervantes. They wanted to buy a house in North Colton, but the situation that we had back then is that no, you cannot buy a house in North Colton. You cannot buy a house. But Ralph, went ahead and went to court, and he won his case. So he was one of the first people that bought a house in North Colton. And then Sal had the same problem. I think he was 53, 54, and he had the same problem. After you came back from the service, David, you mentioned that those guys laid the groundwork for you. That when you bought the house in North Colton, you didn't have any trouble.
No, well, the house I bought was in Utah when I was transferred over there.
No, but when you
But
when you bought your house in Colton,
I bought a house in Colton. No,
Yeah.
there was no problem. N.G. Oliva was another one that wanted to buy on the north side, and he couldn't buy, so he went to Loma Linda and
okay.
had a house there in the middle of orange groves. And now there's houses all over the place. The orange groves are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was one that he said, "To heck with them, I'll go someplace else."
So there was that situation where you couldn't buy a house
yeah.
in North Colton.
Well, also, I went to the municipal pool, and they wouldn't let me in because of the color of my skin. We had two theaters, the New Colton Theater and the Hub City Theater, and we had to sit on the left side. You recall that?
Yeah, remember that? Yeah.
And so that's the way it was.
Matter of fact, I remember sitting there, that's when the war started at Pearl Harbor. We were sitting there looking at the movies, and all of a sudden they announced all the loudspeaker P system that all military personnel report to their bases. And I said, I wonder what happened.
Well, that was December 7th, 1941.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it came out, and then we heard they had bombed Pearl Harbor. I said, "Oh my God!" They were war with the Japanese or whatever it was. Everybody was scared. You don't know what's going to happen. We've never been in a war before.
Do you remember there was a couple of families in Colton of Japanese descent?
Oh yeah.
Oh, tell me about that.
Oh yeah.
Well, they came around, they picked them up and took them.
Yeah.
Well, that was during the,
Henry something was his
And,
name?
yeah, he owned a market, and he
Mhm.
had 2 boys, I believe.
On I Street.
Yeah, and I used to hang around with them because I used to like to build model airplanes.
Yeah.
They did the same, you know.
And then there was a barber shop on J Street, that's where the freeway is now. And it
Yeah.
was a Oriental man. And all of a sudden, the next day, they were gone.
Yeah, they were going. They
Mhm.
never seen them again.
David, you mentioned that your dad came to Colton in early 1900.
My grandfather.
Your grandfather, in 1900. He worked for Portland Cement Company?
No, he crossed San Antonio, no, El Paso, 1901. According to my grandmother, they paid 2 cents to cross.
Right.
And what I heard when I was a kid, he worked at Patton State Hospital. He was a plumber. And after that, I don't know what happened. He got a job with the city of Colton.
And then being with the city of Colton, he worked as a street,
Sweeper. He had a broom and a little cart, and that cart's in the Colton Museum now.
Now, was that downtown Colton?
Yes. He would sweep around the main streets there, you know.
And
I
then what?
remember him. Yeah, I
Oh, you don't remember him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And then, back, and then in 1931 or so, what year was that? When one of the councilmen said, we have to fire him because he's not a citizen. And therefore, it came to a vote. And it was during the
Repatriation. There
Frank,
was
how do you say that word?
Repatriation.
repatriation. Yeah.
Program.
They were sending people back to Mexico.
And he was caught in that situation.
And one of the people in the city council put the finger on him that he wasn't a citizen. So there were other councilmen that backed him up. They liked him a lot. He was very popular, very well mannered. Yeah, I remember that people would say, "Hey, your grandpa, he's always tips his hat when the ladies came around, you know." So he became a citizen. And
Well, the vote was that he would not lose his job.
no,
And then 2 weeks later, after the vote, he became a citizen.
right,
And then he got his permanent job again.
right. And my grandmother became a citizen. Also.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was tough in those days, you know.
I can imagine, yeah.
Reading and writing and knowing the history of the United States and stuff.
Well, yeah, and there was a personal situation, but overall, the feeling towards Mexicans was that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our schools, they're taking our health services, and they're taking them away from American citizens, so let's send them back to Mexico. There was a feeling, really.
Mhm.
There was a feeling. That was during the 30s.
Right.
And your
That
grandpa
was-
got caught in that.
Yeah.
Your grandpa got caught in that. Both of you were born and raised in Colton, eh?
Oh, yeah.
What did people do for recreation? When you were a little kid, you mentioned the plunge in South Colton. Is it Caldera plunge?
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned the Caldera plunge in South Colton. And you lived on Fifth Street during that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you, either of you or both of you, tell us about your experience and what you remember about the Caldera plunge?
Well, I was just I guess I was 6, 7 years old. I don't know. And my grandma used to take me over there, and because Juan Caldera's wife, Eulalia, was my grandma's comadre. So they sat there and comadrear, you know.
Maria, yeah.
And then I was there in the children's, they call it la pilita, the little water fountain coming out and water would be coming in. And I remember Rick Castorena.
Yeah.
Ricky.
He used to climb, that thing was humongous, a diving board. And he was the only one, man, and he'd come down and beautiful swan dives he put in there. And so that, and then there was baseball teams.
Yeah, where was it located, Dave? Where was the the center rotator.
It was on Fifth and Fog, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Fifth and Fog. And next door to it, in the corner of Fifth and Fog, that's where the ballroom, I guess you'd call it, saloon, or that was made out of.
What was it, a dance hall?
The dance hall that was made out of PFE boards from the railroad cars.
By the box cars?
Yeah,
that were-
they have PFE on the side there.
Uh-huh. So the material, building material was from the box cars that
Right,
were,
right.
they were taken apart of the PFE,
Right.
and the lumber was
Yeah.
brought back, and
Right.
they built the dance hall with
Uh-huh.
lumber. Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yeah, and
They also tell me that was a baseball field.
I don't.
Yeah,
You
they
recall
were
that?
Further north. Uh,
On
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 Fifth
Con- on
Street.
Congress?
Fifth Street, just before you got to Congress. There was a
Well, what's
baseball field and also another ballroom, another ballroom too. Dancing, and all that sort of thing.
Pickering,
Can't remember.
Jubilee.
The
Not Arthur's
Cup.
Club.
Cup dance floor or whatever it was, I don't know. But anyway, the bleachers were right against the wall of the dance hall. The bleachers for the baseball, and of course there's a big field there. And on top of the dance hall, there was an eagle made out of wood, I guess, and they had light bulbs in them. And whenever they had a dance hall, they light that up, And I used to go up there and sit by the bandstand and hear the music,
How old were you, Joe?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't too old. I can't recall how old I was, but I was just a kid anyway. I used to sit there next to the band and hear the music, and see the people dancing, whatever. And go get they had like a bar on the site, and there kids used to run it, and they used to give me a soda pop.
And you were in heaven with that soda
Well,
pop.
part of the gang there, but it was a lot of fun. Just about every Saturday night, I think it was. They had dances.
Did they have good crowds from South Colton?
Oh yeah, they had good crowds.
Anybody from-
most of them hardly. Most of them walked, I guess.
Yeah, well, actually, I remember people from East Islands used to
También?
come. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and East Islands they had a little hall over there too. At first, I think it was a dirt floor. If I
And East
remember.
Island.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
right there.
So a lot of people came to the Cabrera dance hall. And what about, they also mentioned a bull ring, David?
Well, I vaguely remember there on you probably know
Yeah.
more there, right on Congress, west of Fifth Street.
Yeah.
On Congress.
Oh.
Caldera built a ring there,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and he would bring bulls. They couldn't kill them, but they los toreaban, back
Yeah.
and forth, and it was a fiesta type thing.
I helped a little bit. They brought the board from the PFE, I guess, and they put me and some of their daughters and brothers or whatever to take the nails out. With a hammer,
Bang, bang, bang all day long.
Yeah. And I guess some other people, some bigger people, I guess, would build up the arena.
Uh-huh.
But it was exciting in a way.
So it was good for the community then.
Yeah.
It's good for the South Colton community because they had a place to be able to dance
participate,
and
you know.
to be spectators at the ball game and be spectators at the bull ring and then swim.
Yeah.
Swim, so it was a good thing. David, you have a wonderful book about Colton there. What's the title of that book?
This book has about everything in there. As the Sand Shifts in Colton, California by Hazel E. Olson.
Uh-huh. And you said it has about everything in Colton?
And it goes way back, Colton, I think he was the gentleman that worked for the railroad. He was some superintendent. And then like Fleming Park,
So they had, it's a history of Colton, mostly North Colton though, ¿verdad?
no, it takes overall, pretty much,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
And you also have some other books there. The ones that were by the 7th Street folks, they were the Matadors, I think, or what do they call it?
It was, there's 3 books, and there's pictures, there's one military, basically military, whoop, it's not that one. But it has articles, newspaper articles, fiestas, parades, school pictures. What they did, they went to a lot of people that they know and said, hey, donate some pictures, we're making a buck, da-da-da. And a lot of people donated pictures, school pictures, fiesta pictures. That's my mother there. Right here.
Oh, what a pretty girl. And your mom was one of the few Mexican-American girls that worked in North Colton.
She worked for a department store in Hellman's. And after that, she worked for Willett's, another department store. And when they made the freeway, she went and worked for Frank's Furniture.
Mm-hmm.
So she was in sales all her life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
But she was kind of not run-of-the-mill kind of Mexican-American girl because she worked in North Colton, in stores in North Colton.
Well, I guess the environment, being around, and she was, if I recall, the first Hispanic to be in the Colton Women's Club.
Ah, tell me about that. She was in the women's club?
Well, she got through there to her boss, Mrs. Frank Dayton, who owned a furniture store, and she introduced her to the women's club.
That she was the first Mexican-American?
If I recall, yeah, I believe so. And there, the furniture store, and across the street was Hunter's restaurant. Remember the
Yeah,
restaurant?
others, yeah.
We couldn't go eat there.
Where was
No.
this? Tell me.
It was right next to the Hub City Theater, across the street from Frank's Furniture.
Okay.
It was Hutton. What was the name of that restaurant? Do you recall?
Hunters?
Hunters.
Hunters, yeah. There's also was the
He-
Candy Palace.
Candy Palace was there.
And you couldn't eat at the restaurant?
No, you. After a while, you could.
The only place they served, that was the Mission Drug Store. Remember the Mission Drug
Oh,
Store? They
Miss-
had the,
Yeah, Mr. McNair, the
had
Mission Drug Store, and he had these. It was
Copper-
He had a copper brass, copper cups, and he'd make
root beer.
root beer sundaes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And
And at the back of the store, he had a weighing machine with the scales, So everybody go in there in the back store and weigh themselves.
And they was downtown Colton.
Yeah, right. Where the freeway's at now.
Oh, just across the street where the Anderson Hotel was?
Anderson Hotel.
yeah,
And there was a jewelry store there, and a magazine store.
J.C. Penney was it?
J.C. Penney was there.
The helmet store.
And then on the corner, remember Greyhound used to come by?
Yeah.
Greyhound-
Yeah.
Greyhound bus.
Yeah.
And then down to the center of town to La Cadena, all the way up to San
The
Bernardino,
streetcar.
we had a streetcar.
You're kidding.
No,
Yeah.